everyone. Thank you for. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in today. I really appreciate your attention towards this. The India is organizing this global summit. Amazing initiative. Looking forward to see more things in the future. But today we are going to talk about more of a futuristic approach. So I'm very big into where you are actually on this stage today. Today is your present, and your present stays with you for whole entire year. So whenever you are planning for your life or your future or personal or professional level, I always recommend people to think about where you are today. It's your present, and where you want to see yourself this year is actually action items for your present. But when you are talking about the future, then you always talk about in the futuristic approach, which is where you want to see yourself next year and the following years and then following years. If I'll see the business aspect of it, a lot of business coaches and consultants must have been asked you this question: where do you want to see yourself 3 years to 5 years down the line? Right? Every consultant and coaches and influential person ask us about it. And when people say, oh well, I want to be $1 million company, I want to travel the world, what is your end goal and what is your means goal? So you need to think about how you want to define your end goal and how do you want to define your means goal, right? And then accordingly, you can plan your future. And when you're planning your future, are you ready to adopt the approach you are going to take? For example, targeting for $1 million business is a good idea, but then how you're going to think where it is going to head and what are the action items are. A lot of people, like if you look at the Starbucks movies, they have thought about the future. They invited nearly 100 futurists, and before they wrote the story, they started thinking about where the future is gonna lies. And if you look at the jet ski and all, they are the invention from those ideas. You must be seeing a lot of jet flying around in the Starbucks movies. Those are those were the futuristic ideas people were thinking about. Right now, when I talk to the businesses, they are say, "Are you voice search enabled?" And I'm thinking, is it the city's been there for 12 years? So where is the future? It was past, and you should be ready by now, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like now you're talking about voice search. We are already 12 years late for that, right? Mm. I was watching the Elon Musk interview, and they were saying that people launched the car, and since there was not many cars, people like just going along. People didn't realize the policy and the reason to have a seat belt in the car before the accident started,
Yeah.
right? So if you are thinking more of a reactive action, that was a reactive action. I mean, why would you not think about risk involved in it, right? Every business should think about what would be the risk, what would be the potential risk by this. Say, for example, we are talking about the future driverless car, and I'm telling you, this will be less human error prone than actually we are. There will be, people are predicting there will be less death in actually self-driving car than actually a human is driving, because you will be straight away eliminating the you know the human errors you do. The error is like you when you are tired, you have to take 2 hours rest. You are, if you are actually puzzled, if you are actually fighting at your home and straight away you are driving, there is a more chance to crash on something. So if you have those all human emotions involved while you are driving, drink and driving is another problem, is the biggest problem actually in the car driving, I mean automobile industry. So when you are doing in that scenarios, then yes, there are a lot of risk by human. But then when you are going towards the future and there will be a driverless car, there will be more cyber attacks, right? So if you are not, people are talking about cyber security now, right? But cyber is always there. It's been since the internet was born. You should have think about the cybersecurity issue. The policy should have been more stricter and stronger by now, rather than thinking now that, oh, social media is creating this whole that fraud and fake news and all that issue. Now you are thinking about like, oh, we should stricten our rules, right? But think about it. Internet was born ages ago, decades ago, and we are thinking now about that cybersecurity. It's too late for that, right? Damage has been already done. Okay, and that's why when I see any new idea, any innovation, I always ask this question: what are the potential risks, right? And I don't want to talk about the only negative side of it. There are positive side of it. If you are futuristic planner, if you always think about the future, you will be more attentive and active and not reactive. You will be acting proactively on the action items you are supposed to be acting on your business or your personal life. So I always give this analogy that if you go to the temples of ancient Indian temples, I haven't visited across the world, but some of the old ancient building I have seen, even in the Bible discussion and all. If you look at the old Indian, wisdom of the temple making, architecture is beautifully done, right? And I see this whole temple concept. There are 3 doors in that. There is always 3 doors, and one door in the middle will give you the stairs to go up, right? And when you go up, you can come down and go up, and you can travel from that. But 2 sides doors are like a big, rectangular shape. You can pick in and see what is there, adopt, watch what others are doing from other side. So I call them, one is a future, one is a past, right? So you can always go in your past and learn the lesson. You can always look peek into the future, and you can always visualize yourself, vision yourself, right? And you can work on your vision. Your future is your vision, right? You haven't done it, but you can always plan it better by learning from the past and the present, right? But must plan it, because the mood, I know not people, some people say like live in a moment. I mean, I live in a moment. When I work in that moment, I'm 100% dedicated. But futuristic approach is something gives you an enthusiasm, a passion, and the love for the life, right? If you will not plan for your future, you will feel like, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. You will be more vulnerable than you are thinking you will be, right? So I feel like it's a beautiful to think that you live in a moment, you enjoy the moment, but at the same time you plan for future, so you can actually have look forward for something. You will be passionate for something. You have some goals to reach somewhere. You have a milestone, right? So if once you start thinking about those kind of aspect, that's where actually you are planning, right? So I mean, if I would like to be more interactive this one. People wants to ask the question, then I will definitely love to hear more. Yeah, all Orissa building, all ancient buildings. Even in South India, if you go, Jag, you can see there are a lot of beautiful buildings, and they all have three doors. Main door is always has the 3 doors, right? 3 gates, like a big rectangle, and then there is one staircase. Beautifully done, right? They knew what is gonna future is gonna hold on to. That's lost science. But what I'm trying to say, we should learn from that past, and we should say where we can implement that in ancient knowledge, or our ancestors knowledge, or our older people like our previous generation, like our parents. They have a lot of wisdom to hold on to, and we should definitely learn from them. And then we definitely think of a plan for the future, right? And I'm a big believer that unless you get out of the box, it is impossible to think. So I'm not asking you to keep looking on the past and only embrace the past. I'm thinking embrace the past, learn from them, but must innovate. Unless you innovate, the whole human race, that we as a humanity cannot surpass the next hurdle, right? look at where we were. I was talking to my father before he died, and he said he was nearly 90 years old. Last year he died. But then I I was talking to, to so emotionally, he was telling me that in his lifetime he saw that 0 and 1 tick tick tick, telegram sending, to the email sending, to the, voice call, and now I was able to do the video call with him, right? So he said, in my lifetime I have seen so much growth in innovation. I am amazed to see, and I was lucky enough to born and live in this era. So I loved his angle, the way he actually projected it. He said, I have seen enough in my lifetime, and God knows what is holding for you to see, and I'm wishing you a good luck for that. Amazing, amazing, heart touching for me, but I'm blessed a thinker like him was in my life. He was showcasing me the past with that, and that gives me a lot of thinking, right? That's why when I'm talking about business, talking to businesses and building their strategy, I always ask this question, just like any other strategist and business owner: where do you want to see yourself in the future, and in 3 years down the line? And when I prepare the strategy for them, I always create two strategy for them. One is for present and one is for future. And when I call present, it's my 1 year plan. When I call the future, where you want to see yourself in 3 years down the line, and you have to plan it now. Not when 10 years down the line accident will happen, then we are planning for the seatbelt. That's not going to happen. That you are already in your present. That's not your future, right? So if you want, wherever you want to see yourself in future, plan it today and act on it today parallelly, right? And some people might have also got this comment that, oh, isn't it too hard on yourself? But I'm thinking, it's not hard, because it depends on how you do your energy management, right? Because if you are overwhelmed, and then a full day you are working on present and full night you are working on past, yes, future, then yes, it is hard on you. But if you will plan your energy properly, and you give the proper balancing act, then there is always a chance of acting on two strategy parallelly, right? And it's all, I never talk about time management, you know it's all about energy. How your energy, you wanna represent yourself, how you wanna showcase your energy, and where you wanna invest your energy. For people, time is a commodity. For me, energy is a commodity, because we get tired. We meant, if you are mentally you are tired, or physically you are tired, you are all human. This is machine, right? So yes, we keep pouring the fuel, and then with that energy drinks, and vitamin B12, vitamin B6, etc., etc. You can put all that, pharmaceutical magic in your body, but still you have a energy management process given by God, and you need to know how to use it nicely and wisely, right? And that's why I always suggest people to, when you before you start your day, you must have a very planned day ahead. But in the morning, do your all productive work, right? Invest on yourself, and before you sleep, invest on yourself in reflection. Have I accomplished what I wanted to? Am I satisfied? Am I feeling fulfilled today? Right? That's called living in a moment. If you're not reflecting and checking on yourself, talking to yourself, asking yourself, hey Priyambada, what did you plan today? Are you satisfied today? Can you sleep well? Right? Checking on yourself, on your act, is very much necessary, because it's better than criticizing yourself and judging and questioning yourself than anyone else. I start my day with the yoga and meditation and all, because I want to contain all that energy I have been actually processed overnight, so that I can actually use that energy throughout the day. I feel happy when I start my day with that. Instead of jumping on straight on the social media or looking at my computer, I would like to have my own paddling time. I would like to have meditation. I would like to go in my garden. I don't mind playing with my, pets. Whatever is you love, you do it. Do it for yourself, right? And even people talk about social responsibility. Your CSR activity, whenever you are planning your act, and I just interviewed a lady and she said $1 a day, or a donation a day will make your life different, right? And I'm thinking, it was so beautifully said, because if you don't have a money, you can invest your energy. Like, I don't know if people in gurudwaras, if you go in Indian gurudwaras, they actually donate their energy, their time. That's also commodity, right? So do something charitable for no reason. And when people ask me, oh, you are so kind, so good, and I always answer them that I'm very selfish. I do it for my own happiness, right? I'm not doing any CSR activity because I'm trying to please anybody. I want to do it because I feel happy about it. I'm very selfish. I'm looking after myself. And God will only help me if I will help myself, right? So think like that. And then if you will act on that selflessness, then you will be feeling more satisfied. Every corporate, whether it is here small or a big, you should have a CSR activity. You should have a social impact on it. In your action item, you should definitely add those action items in that. Don't say that, oh, 5 year down the line when we will have $1 million, then I'll give $10,000 to somebody else. No, not that way planning. Little bit by bit is this. Be a droplet. Every drop makes a difference in your ocean, right? So that's beautiful, Jack. I really like it that you're saying proceeds to going for the charity. I love to do that as well. I wrote a book. I was just doing the same thing. I want to raise a fund so I can I want to throw that for the charity for $5, and it's a very good act. And I was watching someone's interview and they said, oh, who's gonna buy your, who's gonna pay for your ebook? And I'm saying, it's not about the ebook. I put the effort on it, right? So it's not that, it's just a copy paste from something. It's my own effort, my own wordings, my own time and energy I have invested on that. So I deserve the compensation for that. But at the same time, if you remove the commercial angle, everybody needs fund to support. You cannot give something you don't have, right? You cannot. One of my divine mentors told me that you cannot give somebody if you don't have a money. You cannot give happiness and share the happiness with somebody if you are not happy yourself, right? If you're not fulfilled, you cannot offer fulfillment. If you don't have that forgiveness attitude, you cannot share the forgiveness to somebody else. You cannot share something you don't have. So yes, we need to raise the money for a reason, and you should do it. And whenever you launch that, Jag, send me. I'm happy to support that. So the really appreciate this kind of initiative where people wants to do something. Yes, to it. My book is selling 5% is going to the charity. Every income I earn, 1% goes to my charity. Every income, every cent I earn is going, 1% I invest somewhere in a charity aspect. So that's where you should think. And we see, I believe if you are on this planet, we all have enough to share, and God has given us enough on this planet. It's our responsibility to actually protect it, prevent it, for us and for the future, right? We are sole responsible for it. So Andy is asking, how can we apply your tips in marketing? I always say that if you will put your story with your marketing elements, it is more powerful than just saying that, oh, I have this product and this problem I solve, right? If you want to give a true value to the society with your work, for everything, even the boring subject like accounting and finance would have a story. You always have a purpose what you do, whether you want to realize or recognize it or not, No, nobody is purposeless in this society, especially in the entrepreneurial world, right? So people are becoming entrepreneur because of this. They have some purpose, they have some motive, they have some passion, they have something, some enthusiasm and zeal to do something different. Otherwise you won't be an entrepreneur, right? You are taking that risk of your life and losing that freedom of security and consistency in the income, source of income, and getting transitioning from employee to entrepreneur or a business owner. You have that kind of a passion to do it and courage to do it. You have taken your first step of your risk of your life, right? You imagine, but it is a risk anyway. Doing a business is a higher risk than joining an employment somewhere, right? And if you have taken that, then definitely you have a story to talk about, right? And the moment you put your story and you plan yourself proper communication, I call it is a, it's not a, it's, it's not just a content strategy, I call it communication strategy. The way you communicate, your future is gonna hold on to that, right? So you can put your narrative on your purpose and your story, and you be truthful, be transparent, and see the world. It's ultimately you are doing business in marketing is another human watching other side, right? So it's again you have to read to the your consumer's brain and behavior and the intent. So you implement your we created a framework called intended maturation model, right? So you have an intention to mature your model with the time, right? So we created that framework to implement, and we give the 3 years of journey out of it, right? So create corporality impact, where we create a brand positioning for you. We bring the brand visibility for you. You become, we create a perception you want it to be perceived. For example, me as a business owner, when I started my journey, I wanted to be perceived like a very elegant educationist, caring, uh, you know, person. That's my angle I wanted to create, and I always wanted to be known for my knowledge, right? And I'm not hesitant to keep throwing the value add, doing a lot of interviews, writing a lot of blogs, creating my YouTubes, article, white paper, research paper. We keep doing it because I really genuinely want to implement that knowledge base, and that's how I wanted to be known. So I created my communication strategy based on that, right? And once you got the visibility problem solved, when you start becoming a visible, how do you want to proceed further? And you can actually create an intended maturation model where people will mature with the time with your own model, which will be very boutique designed for you based on our framework. And then you will be able to see yourself. The progression and the sustainability of the business model is very, very much key. Don't try to survive, right? And that's why when people come to me, that I want lead, I normally don't accept the lead, right? So next question is, how do you build your business from zero to hero, and how do you become confident about asking money for your service, as so many people are providing free services? What's your insight on this? See, the hero to zero position is based on how the perception you are creating and the way you are designing your value. And if the value has been seen by the potential customer, they will pay for it. People do not pay for your service, people pay for the value you are offering. And if you are not able to create the value, forget it. You will not get the cheap, you will not be able to sell the cheapest service even, right? But people are selling businesses, services, just services on 100,000 to 200,000 to $1 million services, right? And I always suggest that have $1 million service if you have that kind of a value to offer. But people don't buy service, people buy value. And if you can create that and we can convey that, then yes, if you can create the perception, yes, people will pay for it, right? So like I'm working with this divine intercession company, and they always say that, Priya, the value you offer, that's what we like about your service, right? The service we agreed, I don't know what we agreed on, but the value you are offering, that is more than we asked for, right? So that's the value. People, when you give more, people will return you more. And I'm telling you, this is not an easy journey. They're not going to give you it tomorrow. They will watch, they will observe, they will wait, right? They will extract as much as possible from you, right? And then they will say, they feel sympathy for you, and then they feel sorry for you, and then they will offer the payment, actually, right? The recognition is not easy, but are you ready for that resilience, right? That is more important. If you are believing in yourself and you see you are really giving the value, be resilient, keep doing what you're good, what you are doing, what you believe in, do your job, right? In Ramayana, in Mahabharata, in Gita, it's been said, karmannevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachina, means you do your duty and the fruits will come automatically with time, right? So I do believe in it. I just focus on what I am offering, what I am doing. Watch my own act. I cannot control outside, but I can control what is inside, right? You cannot control the entire world, right? But if you are in a room, you can control the environment of the room, right? And if you will just focus on that, the ripple effect will happen. Yeah, so that's what my advice towards it. This is where I want to see people to plan in future, plan well, work on it. There are a lot of dreamers. Dreaming is first step, and dream is not something which you dream in your sleep. Dreaming is something which you sleep in your daytime and in your full 100% attention period. When you watch, you're really attentive. I'm attentive right now, and I'm dreaming that I want to see myself in 3 years down the line across the globe, talking like this, as if I'm traveling with Andrea across the world. And that's my dream, and that's I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to fulfill this, right? That's my dream. And I'm going to not just dreaming, that's the dream I projected right now. I want to travel across the world with Andrea. I want to speak like this. I want to educate people with my value, with my vision, with a believe what I believe in, and then we will see what happens, right? But that's just a dream until me and Andrea start working on it, right? And hands off to the Andrea. She saw that dream and acted on that. For whole, it's not easy day night sitting 200 people talking day night, asking them genuine question, genuine approach, genuine things bringing on the floor. It's not easy. It requires a lot of planning. It requires a lot of energy and effort. It requires that clarity of the mind to segregate and separate from one communication to the another communication. It requires a lot of attentiveness in that, right? So the Andrea is doing, which is impossible to possible, and that is happening because she dreamt a day in a full attentive way, and then she implemented it, and now she is executing it, right? And I can see the ripple effect already coming, and I can see it is gonna give her a better result in the future. And I am with her because of that courage she took, not because Andrea is my best friend, because of the courage she took. I can see the potential. I can see that, I want to be friend with her, right? So if you will show enough value, you will get the outcome for sure. Okay. And that's how it works, like it or not, right? There is no substitute of hard work and smart work. Right? So what is the marketing that works in 2021? Right. So in 2021 or in 2022 we are heading towards 2022, right? So I'm already talking about the future of marketing in 2022. majority of CEOs, CTOs, and CXOs are started talking about customer experience, which it should be. The day the trading was started, the customer experience was always the center of everything, right? People are coming back to you when, if you're talking about a retention model, you cannot live without customer experience. And I would like to extend this to the business experience, overall business experience. The consumers are so well educated these days. If you are not thinking about customer experience and also business experience overall, then it's not gonna be giving you a sustainable business model in the future, right? And the reason why I'm educating that, because the sustainable business model is depends on the what kind of evangelist and the advocacy you are creating for your business. See, for example, I'm a big fan of Ritz Carlton. I have never visited a Ritz Carlton hotel. I cannot afford it. But at the same time, I'm a big advocate for that. The reason why they have created the perception, and the story comes out. The people talk about Ritz Carlton story, and I am fascinated to listen and hear that. And that's why I'm a big fan of it. Right? So whether I'm your customer or not, I'm a potential customer or not, you have to give me a reason to talk about it. Right? It's not about who is your potential customer. It's about the customer who is going to talk about you, how they are going to project it. Unless your evangelist, your advocates, your trustworthiness and trustworthy consumers are not going to actually explode the story about you, then you're not going to be doing business in future. And that's where the future holds. And majority of larger businesses already understood it. That's why they have actually started hiring more CXO than CMOs, right? Instead of chief marketing officer, they are talking about chief experience officer, because people are seeing the future. And if you are still talking about chief experience officer, I'm telling you are already late, because larger businesses are already talking about overall business experience, right? So get on the board, see what's coming up, keep your open eyes. Driverless car is coming. The AI is actually gonna rule the world. When I'm saying rule the world, they are not gonna control. There is no substitute of human at this stage. They are gonna be a helping hand for us. They will be the best assistant, but it depends on how you are educating your AI. The VR and is AR is your future. Drone is your future. So get along with it. Write the journey and be prepared for that. It's already there. It's not coming. It's already there. If you haven't started acting on it, then you are already late. So that's my futuristic approach aspect. So yes, I am writing a book, which is like based on this kind of a strategy, which I'm actually writing. The title I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking, and I'm open for your opinion to hear, that mine will be manifest to success, right? So, and that will be, and when I'm talking on action, that's my manifestation. I don't believe in sitting and meditating, oh God, give me this, I want to get it. Manifestation is your action, right? So the action I'm going to take, that will be my manifestation, and that will be definitely based on strategy, scenario planning, business design, volume design, value design, and that's what I want to bring. That my current book is Journey of Perseverance. Andrea has been actually advertising on it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, your support for that. It's been in the market for a while now, and I'm really getting a good response to that. Looking forward for my next book, which will be launching next year sometime. So that will be very much based on the strategy. We will be talking about the futuristic approach, but if you really want to, grow, be innovative. I'm a small company, but I have a R&D center. I have 3 people working only on R&D. We are 22 people only, and 3 people are R&D, because your future is depend on your R&D department. So yes, the investment I'm doing on that department to see my system future. Because if you're not futuristic, look at the Sony. right? The Apple actually replaced them nearly, right? I mean, they are surviving, but they are not thriving the way Apple thriving based on the whole music aspect they brought it into the market. Dell disrupted the market by talking about whole storytelling. Kodak, they were the first one to launch the digital camera, but they are not into the market because they do not innovate after that. You innovate once, and I wrote in my book, there is a chapter called Define Your Master Act and hit the high note again and again. Unless you do that, then you will be lost in the past. Right? If you cannot create a new music every time, you will be just remembered. Right? But you will be embraced when you are into the game. And you are into the game by innovating with the time, with the futuristic approach. And that's why I decided, okay, we are a small company, I'm ready to do the investment. Right? I'm not spending. There is a difference between spending and investment. So I'm investing because I'm gonna cash it in the future. Right? Yes, I do use AI. I believe in the technology. So I do believe in a lot of automation, right? So I bring a lot of automation in my, in my process. So the reason why my 22 members are more productive compared to any other small business like me, because I have implemented a lot of AI in my system. I have implemented automation, right? I try to do as much automation as possible. I try to do planning for the futuristic in a way where what we are gonna post in 1 month, in next 90 days plan. We plan on the today we were planning about how we are gonna talk whole 1 year narrative, right? What will be my next 1 year narrative? We have already planned it today. Okay, so it takes time for people to perceive you. You can project your perception, but public will take time to perceive you, right? And how you want to be perceiving, you have to maintain the consistent narrative to get into the head. It is very noisy place. Sometimes whisper works, so bring that whisper in between, right? So bringing those little things are very much important, right? So, and that's why I join hands like Andrea's group. This is my whisper group, right? I don't want to go and talk to 2 lakh people or 8 billion out there. I'm here to talk to the community Andrea is building, and this is my whisper. 10 people, if 10 people are listening today, I'm whispering in their ears so that they can go and talk about me to one another. And that's what I want to create, that the effect, that ripple effect, that I drop a small stone, create the ripples, it goes to that radius, and that's good enough for me to be perceived at this stage. That's why these communities are more valued. Right? So Patricia is asking, Priya, what would be some of the most wanted skill set we need to develop and work on this digital era? I still believe your soft skill. For me, I always say that when I was working in corporates, people used to come as a software engineer and all. They were fresh hired from the gold medalist and everything in the big corporate. And I always used to see them. They are highly ambitious and talented kids, but they were lacking in their soft skill. The attitude was missing to become what they wanted to become, right? So I will still believe your EQ is equally important as your IQ, right? Your emotional quest is more valued today. So bring your emotional quest, work on that emotional quest, develop your software skill, develop your creative minds. I don't know if you guys have noticed that I created my slogan before I created my company. My slogan is ideation with fearless creativity, right? So bring your ideation, yes, your IQ, but bring your creativity, fearless creativity, which brings your emotional side to it. And that's where you will be able to actually connect with the human brain and human emotion and human ground. And when those consumers will reach out to you, they will adopt your services, then, I'm telling you, they're going to stay with you, because the journey you have given is actually, you have given your credo along the way already. They will be your loyal customers. Okay, so that's why I always believe that your most wanted skill should be develop your soft skill, be resilient, be persistent, be better in the time management, energy management, be a diplomatic person, right, who can keep everyone, I would not say that try to keep everybody happy, but I'm trying to say be keeping a people in a such a way that where you are in a position to say the truth, right? But it should not be rude way. So the people, young people actually misconceptualize this. They being upfront means they try to be rude. Being upfront doesn't mean you are rude, right? You can say the same right thing straightforward without being rude, right? There is always a better way of talking. There is develop a good communication skill. Watch their body language. If people are not watching, if you are not listening from the body language and the facial expression more than the wordings, then actually you are not communicating, right? Be stay focused on that movement, right? When I'm these days, when people do the Zoom, they try to do multitasking. I mean, why do you spend a time and committed? I've given a time to Andrea for 1 hour. She deserve my 1 hour attention because I've already committed for it. That's my basic ethic and moral, right? So if you have committed on something, stay on that moment, right? Then you can give your 100%. Now I'm telling you, the outcome will be much more powerful than you can even imagine on it. So those are my few cents actually. And people, why people talk about, I am like literally against this whole communication, people saying that human has the 9 seconds like a goldfish attention span. Now I'm thinking it is because of that, because I don't have any interest. I don't pay attention to something I'm not interested in. So if you are curious, you will be paying attention to that. And we all human have that ability. So like kind of I'm against that logic, right? People are not attentive to something if they are not interested in. If I'll throw a keyword, like for example, you want to buy a red shoe today, and if I'll throw a keyword, red shoe available in $100 here and there, and you will see that retargeting ad, because red shoe is in your mind, you will pay attention to that. But I'm not interested in red shoe, I won't pay attention to that. Right? So attention span is very much derived by your human behavior, which is called curiosity. Your senses are not active for that, right? And that's where attention span goes. So yes, there are a lot of there is no straightforward answer for everything, anything, right? There is always yes and no and pros and cons, right? There is always some gray areas. Explore that. Be curious. you know your tomorrow is holding on your curiosity. I would love to keep, I told them that okay, I'm biologically aging, but my mind is still a child, because I am still curious, I am still ready to learn. I don't mind if my 10 years old child come and educate me. I'm open for that, right? I have a college going student. He is doing cinematography master this year. He joined me in graduation second year for a videography with me. He do all my videos and creative stuff. He helps me, and I'm supporting him. I know one day he's gonna leave me, but I'm supporting him. And I keep going back to him. Niranjan, can you teach me this? I saw this one. Can you see that? And he thinks first when I started asking, he was literally stunned. because he's thinking, this lady is 20 years more experienced than me, and she's asking me this question like always, as if she doesn't know things. Like gradually he realized that I know few things, but I'm still open to learn, right? And it's, don't be judged by don't judge people, don't be judged by people. And if somebody is judging, that's their problem, not yours. But you be curious, don't hesitate to ask the question. Open for learning.
Thank you very much, Priya. So basically what we can do now is I can just stop the live stream, but before I do so, can you talk a little bit about how can people reach out to you? Where can they find you? And straight after that, I will just stop the live stream and we can get the questions from the room.
So reach out to me straight. Go to corporality.global website. It's pretty straightforward. Corporality, corporality.global. And other, to know about me, Priya Mishra, there is a site called priya.sydney. You can go and explore. I'm very active on social media, so I always talk about Omni effect, and I will try to create that Omni effect for you if you will try pass through my journey and cross the road from me. So you can search me on those sites, and all the social media is given on those websites, and you can reach out to any medium you want to.
Thank you very much for those who are watching on YouTube, who are rewatching it on replay. Please don't forget to play with the Treasure Hunt application, and we are watching and waiting for you every single time for 1.5 weeks more. And we would like to see you in the workshop rooms and in the live